Hello and welcome to Studies in Theatre MOOC program. Students, this is my final discussion about American theatre today. Now we have come towards the mid of the 20th century and thereafter, because after the two world wars, United States, that is America, it had emerged as a very important power. In fact, it became one of the global superpowers. The economic upheaval, rapid growth, all prosperity was visible in America. And there was a post-war reconstruction. A lot of things were being constructed. As it happens in a developed country, as it happens in a prosperous country. So this period looks at a lot of geopolitical changes, geopolitical shifts, rivalries between other countries and especially the Soviet Union. And this was called as the Cold War. This period from 1947 to 1991, it was the Cold War period until the fall down of Soviet Union into independent countries. And we know that Russia is no more today the part of Soviet Union, it does not exist. So the Cold War period of geopolitical rivalry between these two countries, that is United States and the Soviet Union, it was dominating international relations during this time. Tensions were there between the two superpowers, which created the proliferation of nuclear weapons and establishment of military alliances like NATO military alliance and Warsaw Pact, and it was being fought in various regions. There was a paranoia against the communism, and ideological divisions were very sharp as far as pro and anti-communism was concerned within American society as well. So this was this climate of anti-communism, and one such example is Senator Joseph McCarthy's hearings investigating alleged communist infiltration in the government, Hollywood and other institutions, and this led to a widespread fear and paranoia, as well as the blacklisting of suspected communists and supporters. So this post-war period therefore witnessed a significant cultural shifts and social changes in American society. The baby boom, suburbanization and the rise of consumer culture transformed the demographics of entire US society and American society. The lifestyle of many Americans was changed. The rise of television as a dominant form of entertainment and new literary artistic movements were also visible. For example, the movements like the Beat Generation, abstract expressionism, they influenced the cultural landscape. In this period, when we look at plays and drama and theatre, we find that Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams is an important play because it is set in the World War II's backdrop, and it is one of the iconic texts in today's times. We cannot claim to have studied American literature, American theatre if we do not know about this play. The character of Blanche DuBois, who is a Southern belle, is struggling to maintain her fragile grasp on reality, this play therefore serves as a very powerful symbol of the disintegration of traditional values in the post-war era. Similarly, another play, The Autumn Garden by Lillian Hellman in 1951, is about the disillusioned friends who gather at a southern resort in the World War in the year that followed the World War II. And when they confront their pasts and uncertain futures, the characters grapple with themes of lost opportunities, unfulfilled dreams and passage of time. Other plays like The Crucible by Arthur Miller, very prominent play and very prominent theatre productions were there. It was written as an allegory for McCarthyism and the Red Scare. How people were against communism, how people were spreading paranoia against communism, and against this sentiment, this spoofing this sentiment or this is the allegorical representation of that sentiment that we find in this play. It explores the dangers of mass hysteria, because how people become, when the whole society becomes paranoid, then it is very difficult to identify the paranoia, and it can happen against peoples, it can happen against races, it can happen against ideologies, and then the sufferers in such a situation become those people who are generally innocent. So this is set during the Salem. This was a witch trial of the 17th century. It was a famous witch trial, and this play gives us that powerful indictment of the paranoia and intolerance which was there in Cold War period. Zoo's Story by Edward Albee. This is set in Central Park, and the play is capturing the existential angst, we can say. It also represents the disillusionment of the post-war era, and therefore it presents the sense of unease and dislocation that is felt by many Americans during the Cold War period. So when you look at the contemporary American drama of today's times, especially in 21st century, what you see today is that contemporary American drama is shaped by myriad of social, cultural, political and technological developments. And important event or mishap that has taken place is the 9/11 thing. And post 9/11 America is a big paradigmatic shift from the pre 9/11 America. The terrorist attacks that took place in September 11. It has changed the American society and culture to a great extent. The contours of different kinds of emotional narratives are visible in the landscape of culture, landscape of expression in American society. Idea of making a secure society, the idea of very different kinds of nationalism, heightened nationalism, patriotism, debates about what kind of liberties should be given to civilians, and how should America come out of threats, and America is under threat, and what is America's new role in this world which is inclined towards terrorism because there is a terrorist attack in America. So these themes have been shaping the plays and films, other kinds of mediums of expression in art and culture as well. How American society, American identity, global politics is now visibly different from the previous times. And in addition to this, the technological advancements that I have been discussing, they are also embodied in various kinds of productions in theatre. And playwrights, because are incorporating digital elements, multimedia projections, interactive technologies, and that makes the whole experience of the play different from what it was earlier. So this is about the changing patterns. And then the shift in the policies because of economic recession and inequality. There was a great recession in 2008, and this exposed the deep-seated economic inequalities and a lot of failures in American economy, because there it is always boasting, it is always claiming, the American economy and economies like America are claiming that they have attained a lot of equality of access and equality of economic nature for their citizens. But when this recession had taken place, it had become visible that people did not have safeguard, people did not have the security cover extended from the government when the catastrophic moments like the recession were there. The marginalized people were struggling. Marginalized communities had had no clue how to grapple with this neoliberal neoliberal atmosphere of the post 9/11 America or 21st century America. So we see that many plays are exploring this theme about the economic hardship, the social inequality, and the human cost of financial crisis. Plays have been throwing light on the struggles of marginalized communities in America and other things. In addition to this, there is a social and cultural shift also, and which is visible in the awareness towards racial and gender inequality, how definitions of family, identity and community are changing. Then in the greater acceptance of LGBTQ plus existence and rights. So the plays are also engaging with these themes, offering critiques of governments, policies of institutions, corruption in the system, and how the democratic norms are being eroded in a very systemic manner. There is sharp political division and polarizations visible in the politics of America, and there are vertical divisions in the 21st century political atmosphere, and there are people who are more and more intolerant towards each other's opinions, and this kind of shift is also visible in the portrayal of diverse characters and diversity and the presence and absence of inclusion at various junctures of society, and how social justice is being diluted or strengthened. These aspects are also visible. Then globalization and transnationalism is a very powerful paradigm that has its presence in the discussions of literature, culture, art and social sciences, humanities, and we need to understand these things in order to have a grasp on the theatre that is happening today, because people, cultures, economies and borders, they are becoming more and more interconnected because of the existence of social media, because of internet. There is more mobility, there is a lot of cultural exchange, and hybrid identities are more and more visible in countries. There are more children from the marriages and partnerships between people of different races, different countries, different culture. So we find that plays are also representing the issues of globalization, immigration and multiculturalism. You must have heard of the infamous Mexican border, how that has been into discussion about. It can be complex, it can be difficult, interconnectedness is being impacted, people want to come on this side or that side. So these kinds of narratives are very much part of the discussions in the modern plays, the contemporary plays. And these are some of the playwrights like Tony Kushner, Lynn Nottage, Brandon Jacobs Jenkins, Vira Allegra Hughes, and Stephen Adlai Wygyes. So I have already discussed Lynn Nottage with you. So these are the playwrights like Tony Kushner, Lynn Nottage, Brandon Jacobs, Vira Allegra and Stephen Adlai. So I have discussed Lynn Nottage already with you. When you look at Tony Kushner's work, he is very well known for his Pulitzer Prize winning play Angels in America. This play explores the themes of politics, AIDS as a problem, religion and identity politics in America during 1980s. And he is also known for his work as a very notable screenwriter, especially for the screenplay of the film called Lincoln. Then I'll skip Lynn Nottage, and when we go to the discussion of Brandon Jacobs Jenkins, we can see that he is known for his innovative and thought-provoking plays. His plays have garnered critical acclaim such as Octoroon, Gloria and Everybody. And he is also writing a lot about race, identity and the complexities of contemporary society. Then Huyara Elegna is writing about she is also a Pulitzer winner. Her play was Water by the Spoonful. It's a part of a trilogy that includes Eliot, A Soldier's Fugue, and The Happiest Song Plays Last. She has frequently explored about the themes of family, culture, and the Latino experiences in America. So when you are listening to the lectures on Afro-Americanism, you must also keep in mind that there are Latin Americans means the not just the Latin Americans who are living in South America, but Latin Americans who are living in the United States. So about them also you can read and understand. Hughes is known for her Pulitzer Prize winning play, which I told you about. And then there is Stephen Adley. He is also a very important playwright, a very gritty and writer of dark comedy plays which are set in New York, like some of his plays, and his writing is about the marginalized individuals, which explores the themes of redemption, faith, and human connection. In addition to this, we have themes of this kind: identity and self-discovery, because obviously when a scenario of this kind is there, political atmosphere, social atmosphere, cultural atmosphere, then the plays that will be written will have themes like these. For example, the discussion of identity and self-discovery. These many plays delve into the question of how characters are struggling to understand themselves, what they want to find their calling on the cultural landscape of their society, and therefore race, gender, sexuality, culture, and personal history is important aspect of the plays written in this time. The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams, which has been in our discussion earlier also, is an important play that talks about these kinds of themes. Then when you look at the family dynamics and plays like August Osage County by Tracy Letts, and social injustice and oppression in plays like A Raisin in the Sun by Lauren Hansberry, because family relationships, dynamics, this is a very prominent subject, this is a very important subject all through the discussion of various kinds of plays. But there is an evolution in different kinds of highlights that are there. For example, love, betrayal, reconciliation in the backdrop of what is happening in the present America is important to be understood in plays like these. And then how society is becoming more unjust or more tolerant toward injustice, or how new kind of unjust narratives are taking shape, how people are being oppressed. There is homophobia, there is discrimination on the basis of races, there is classism, there is sexism, and there is also newfound fears of the majority people against against minorities. So that is visible in the new generation plays and contemporary discussions of American drama. Love and relationships, in addition to power and corruption, in plays like David Auburn's Proof and Robert Penn Warren's AI, All the King's Men. Robert Penn Warren's All the King's Men. In plays like these, you see that love and relationships are central themes, and they encompass issues about romantic love, platonic relationships. This is a Pulitzer Prize winning play, Proof by David Auburn, which borders on love, loss, and intellectual legacy through the relationship between a mathematician and her troubled daughter and a former student. So it's a play that is looking at the complexities of familial love, romantic attraction, and the quest for validation in society. Similarly, All the King's Men talks about the corrupt influence of power on people in society and how the charismatic politicians are falling for it, The play therefore looks at, ambition, idealism and moral compromises of political leaders and political leaderships. Other themes are like conflict and resolution, where conflict is a fundamental element in many plays, because different kinds of conflicts are talked about by the playwrights when they are talking about things like society, marriage, and issues related to individuals, families, people. Sorry. The play Fences by August Wilson, which is set in 1950s Pittsburgh, is a Pulitzer Prize winning play, and it depicts the struggles of a working class African American family when they are looking for race, struggling with the issues of race, identity and personal ambitions. Other plays like Hope and Despair by Stephen Karam, the play called The Humans. It's a Tony Award winning play which follows a family as they gather for Thanksgiving dinner in a rundown apartment in New York City. Through humor and pathos, the play explores themes of economic insecurity and other tensions like the generation gap and resilience of the human spirit in the face of different kinds of adversities. Then the human condition is portrayed in other plays as well, like the plays of Margaret Edson, again Pulitzer Prize winning play, which follows the journey of Vivian Baring, a renowned professor of English literature who is diagnosed with terminal ovarian cancer. This play is about how this suffering woman undergoes aggressive chemotherapy treatment, and she reflects on her life, her career, her relationships. Ultimately, she confronts her own mortality with a mixture of wit, humor and profound insights. So this play is about mortality, identity, suffering in the wake of dangerous diseases, and it is also looking to search for a meaning in the face of illness and death, offering some kind of discussion, some kind of meditation on what it is to be a human. Then you also have a lot of female playwrights in American literature, American drama, American theatre, like Lauren Hansberry and Wendy Wasserstein, Susan Laurie Parks, Paul Vogel, Lauren Hansberry, Sarah Ruhl and Annie Baker. I have discussed some of them already with you, and like Wendy Wasserstein, Susan Laurie. These playwrights were already in the discussion for when we were talking about the other aspects of American theatre in the previous lecture. And if you look at Paula Vogel's work, she is known for her powerful and often very provocative plays that tackle with themes such as sexuality, trauma and the AIDS crisis. She won the Pulitzer Prize for drama for her play How I Learned to Drive, and her other works include The Baltimore Waltz and Indecent. Then when you look at Sarah Ruhl's work, Ruhl is celebrated for her imaginative and lyrical plays which often blend elements of fantasy and reality. She is known for such works as The Clean House and in the Next Room or the Vibrator play and Eurydice. She explores the themes of love, loss and the nature of existence, human existence. Annie Baker is also known for her intimate and meticulously crafted plays. Especially people living in small towns of America are her characters. She won Pulitzer Prize for her drama The Flick, and her other works are like The Circle Mirror Transformation, The Aliens. She is also often writing about the naturalistic dialogues, and she pays a keen attention to the character development. So moving on, we have themes that are explored by the female playwrights like gender and identity in plays like The Top Girls, Carol Churchill's play. She's also a very famous writer, playwright. Themes are mental health and well-being. This explores a lot of play that are exploring the themes of individuals who are falling for mental treatments and need some kind of support system, therapies. Like for example, Next to Normal by Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkie. Then theme of intersectionality and marginalization in plays like Intimate Apparel, written by Lynn Nottage. These are some important themes in female playwrights' works. And then we have globalization and transnationalism, because transnationalism is a very significant theme, and the idea of nations melting into transnations, the contexts and cultures becoming more and more oriented towards peoples rather than one kind of people. It is important to see that how plays celebrate networks and movements that advocate for social justice, human rights and environmental sustainability. So this is about American theatre and patterns in American theatre, the kind of plays that are being produced. If you read more about how these plays were performed, how these plays were written, how these plays were received by the audience, then you will have more idea about the overall atmosphere of the theatre culture that is prevalent in America right now. And it is not difficult to access that these days, because you have the commentaries and social media programs dedicated to these kinds of things, and I have been sharing such kind of things in my discussions, like where can you go for these. In another lecture which will be dedicated to the resources on theatre studies, I will also share more links and resources where you can find more information on these topics. So I hope you have enjoyed this discussion. Thank you very much. I meet you in a different lecture. Bye bye.